Hey y'all, hey, we are back for another review of Sisters. We're on season 8, episode 16, entitled Choose You. And so that's going to be the gist of what this episode is about. So let's just jump right into it. We got Agent Watt, and he just invites himself into Zach and Fatima's place. And Zach asks him, like, hey, do you have a warrant? And of course he does not, but he does not leave as well. He's still in there looking around, touching people's stuff, all of that jazz, right? And so he tells him about the conversation with Gary Borders and how both of them threatened him on multiple occasions. And so that's giving him probable cause to now think that they are suspects. And Zach reminds him, like, hey, Gary does have a memory issue, so how much can you rely on that? And of course, Agent Watt is just doing his best to get some kind of information, some sort of confession out of them. And they know, Fatima and Zach know well enough to know, like, hey, I'm not confirming or denying anything without my lawyer present. So you can ask as many questions as you want, but go ahead somewhere. And so he's doing his best, like I said, to get them to admit to something. And so we're going to go back and forth with that just a little. Meanwhile, Andy is still talking to Miss Willis and talk about not wanting to return to the firm. Miss Willis is like, listen, I'm disappointed in you because you're willing to give up without a fight. You just gonna roll over and let these men just keep taking advantage of you. Like, you need to stand up. And so she can't. Miss Willis tells her, like, yes, it's tiring. You have to fight, but this is the position that you're in, and you cannot afford not to fight. And she says, hey, even as a mogul like myself, I admit, like, hey, I did say, I get tired, but I didn't say that I give up. Just know that this is the kind of the cross you have to bear. Like, yeah, you could be tired, you could take a break, but we're not giving up. We're not rolling over and letting these people, take advantage of you. And she reminds her, like, hey, if it was easy to be in these positions, everybody would do it. We know that it's not easy, but we know that it's worthwhile. Essentially, just giving her the pep talk, like, girl, I know you're not going to let these people trick you out your spot. Like, we're not doing that. You need to get up, get you a backbone, and do what you got to do. So Miss Marie reminds her, like, hey, you made one bad decision, but that one bad, and because Andy's saying, like, that one bad decision as far as getting involved with Gary has ruined her life, her career, her finances. Everything has been affected by this one decision, the decision to be in relationship with Gary. And so Ms. Willard reminds her, like, hey, you're no victim. You're no victim in this thing. Like, you also kind of was a passenger on this train wreck that is your life. Like, take some accountability, do what you need to do, dig out from up under this and move on. And she is saying, she's confirming everything. And Miss Willis is saying, yeah, my friend told me that. Or, yeah, my homegirl said that. And Miss Willis is like, hey, you talking a lot about these friends. Call them over. I got some more to say to them as well. Come on, call them over. And you'll see in the episode that Miss Willis has done her research on every last one of Andy's friends. Sans Andy, I guess, want to know any person that could be involved with her business, with her money, also being in business with Karen and being on the board of directors at the bank that Sabrina works at. All of these people, she has a vested interest in them being great black women in their positions. But we'll talk about that throughout the episode as well. HR is talking to Tony and Danny about their relationship that people have picked up on. And we learned that Tony's last name is something else. And so Danny's like, so why did I do that deep dive? Trying to figure out who you is, who your people is, to make sure I wasn't kissing my cousin. Just to find out that your last name ain't your last name. He was like, yeah, my last name used to be my stepdad's last name. And when my dad died, in honor of him, I did the paperwork to change my last name to his last name. Blase, blase, blah. But either way, she was talking so damn much that she had already admitted to the relationship, saying, hey, just to make sure we weren't kissing cousins. Girl, you done admitted to the damn investigator, lady, that y'all have a relationship. But anyway, either way, Tony is being accused of showing favoritism to Danny by way of getting her into that internship program that she never even wanted to be a part of. And now that there's an investigation that's been open, and Danny reminds him, like, hey, yeah, this is because of that damn internship that you insisted on me being in. And he's like, listen, just settle down. Everything's gonna be fine. She was like, yeah, but I just want you to know, for the record, I never even wanted to participate. And had you just left well enough alone, we wouldn't be in this situation. However, here we are. All right, Zach and Fatima show Agent Watt. Well, Zach takes Agent Watt over to their amateur suspect board because he's like, listen, if we did it, why would we waste our time putting this together? Like, Come on, be for real. And so he admits, like, hey, that's not that bad for some amateur work. And Zach reminds him, hey, again, why would we do that if we did it? Like, that doesn't make sense. And now Agent White wants to, like, hey, like, what leads have y'all come up with in your limited amount of experience? And Fatima is not willing to give him nothing. She's like, why would I do your job for you? And I agree with you, Fatima. You do the work. You tell me who the suspects are. I'm not telling you. I did my work. I bought this board at Walmart. I'm not doing that. Anyway, and now he threatens to slap them with obstruction charges if they don't tell him what they've come up with. So being wrecked over the coals, like, we know how the judicial system works. At every turn, there's some law that's going to bind your hands and force what they want to happen out of you. Either way, they're further along than him, considering they have less resources. They're not, cops in no sense of the word, but they tell him, hey, let's just make a deal. Like, if you just leave us alone for a little bit, we'll do a little bit more investigation and we'll see what we can come up with, and then we'll turn everything over to you. Because at this point, they really don't have a choice. They just have to come to some sort of conclusion. And he's like, all right, cool, but you got 24 hours. After those 24 hours, I'm going to be back on your trail trying to paint you as the suspect, essentially. And so I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair because, again, they've proved to you on multiple occasions, like, hey, circumstantial at best. I really ain't your suspect, but if you don't do my job for me, I'm going to make you take the fall. Aggravating, but again, this is the judicial system, and it's how it works, unfortunately. Okay. Damani goes to see Sabrina at work, and he tells her that the article he wrote about her is doing well, and something about wanting her to be the face for the company in their upcoming summit, webinar, seminar, whatever the hell it is, in Turks and Caicos. Nobody really cares. He was just there to give her the good news. Well, of course, now we got to get into why she's breaking down in tears and she's crying. And Damani offers that, hey, whatever you need, I'll do what you need. What's wrong? Why are you crying? And so she's upset because she's conflicted about what to do as far as this baby daddy situation and who's going to fertilize said eggs. And so she goes on to tell him about Rich's sperm issue and the whole spiel. And of course, and he's like, okay, I understand that my sample's still on file. Like, let me know if you want, however you want to proceed, just let me know how I can be of assistance. Sorry, you got to go through this. I'm sorry. And of course, Rich turns the corner in that exact moment, like, oh, you got options, you got choices. Yeah, she literally does. Like, 2 options on the table. Either way, he gets upset and he storms out yet again and tells her that she ain't shit. She's so awful. Blah, 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 blah. The storm outs are starting to piss me off because do you want to talk about it or not? Like, don't annoy me. Either way, we still have to deal with him another episode of whining and having his lip as long as the day is. So, whatever. All right, Penelope is meeting with Robin. And he tells her that he's gotten her confession thrown out, but they're still not out of the woods. He does recommend that she goes to therapy to kind of help with her memory loss in that time frame and to help her navigate, all the events that have taken place since losing her baby. And then she asks him, like, hey, what happened between you and Andy? And of course, we don't get an answer. He'll probably answer the question next week, but we'll see if he's going to give her some insight because I don't know why he would, but whatever. She wants to know. All right. The girls show up for the meet with Miss Willis, and of course they're fanning out over her. And Miss Willis tells Sabrina, like, hey, I know a little bit about you too. She did read the article that Damani wrote on her to give her some more insight into how great she is. But she did tell her, like, hey, I wish your love life would be just as great. And we learn here that she's also on the board of directors at the bank. So again, she has a vested interest in Sabrina being healthy, being whole, all that great stuff. So Miss Willis introduces herself. Hey, I'm Miss Willis. All the girls are here. Y'all here for my master class. And of course, Danny's like, well, who is this lady? What's happening here? And they're giving each other the same amount of energy. And Danny's like, girl, who is this? And why have we been summoned? Who is she to summon us anyway? And they go back and forth for a little bit. And Andy tells her, like, hey, this is my client. I need you to chill. Calm down. So Miss Maria is going to line everybody up one by one and tell them what they need to get on track with. And first up, we're gonna go back down the street and we're gonna holler at Sabrina about her baby situation. All right, so Miss Willis is lining all the girls up, like I said, and she's reading everybody their rights and telling them where they need to go and what they need to do in order to be great. And so she tells Sabrina, hey, I heard about your baby situation. Let's get into how we're going to move forward. And everybody looking like, girl, how you know my business? Well, again, I think she has a financial vested interest in all of these ladies, most of these ladies, let's just say that. And Andy didn't tell them. The only person she really told her about was Danny. Either way, she tells her like, hey, basically, Rich is not a candidate. Boo-hoo. Either way, he was on the fence and then he was off the fence, then he's back on the fence, then he's off the fence. A man that is wavering like that when it comes to a child does not make for a good, potentially does not make for a great father. And so she tells her like, hey, man's rejection is God's protection. And what that means is, girl, move on. Maybe the rejection is your sign that we need to move on and do this baby thing a different way. So do with that what you will. All right, next up we got Karen. So while Karen's situation is not ideal, what's most important is her building her family on her own terms and not basing that on her relationship with either man. And of course, she tells Miss Marie like she's worried about her feelings coming back for one of her baby daddies, and Fatima's looking like, which one? And she's like, girl, absolutely not Zach. For Aaron, he's been consistent all of this time. She's starting to soften towards him. She's not really sure, but she just wants to see where this goes. And Miss Marie tells her, all of that is fine and well. However, for right now, it's time for you to focus on yourself, your business, building a foundation for these kids. And if that's what you want to explore, sure. But that's after you get into the throes of motherhood and figuring out what that's like adding a relationship to the situation. It's not time. Basically, slow down. If he's been there thus far, he will be there when you're ready. Let's just focus on getting these kids ushered into the world healthily. You work on yourself, girl. What about yourself first? Basically, is what she tells them. Don't tie yourself to no man just yet. All right. So we're at Fatima, and she tells her that she pretty much got it all together. There's not a whole lot that she needs to fix. You're doing pretty good, but I want to tell you how to be great. I want to tell you how to level up, how to be better, what needs to happen. And so Fatima's like, I understand, with all the respect that is due. Why would we take love life advice from you when you're on your 4th divorce? And she was like, because I made all the mistakes that I see you girls making. Like, you should be more than excited to take the advice from me. I've made all the mistakes. I've did all the crap that y'all about to go through, and I'm just here to save you a little bit of heartache. Just hear me out. And so she tells her like, hey, you and Zach have been through more crap than me and all of my husbands. The baby mama drama, no offense, Karen. The jail, his family, there's a whole lot that y'all have been through. And so I'm just here to help you, dial it down a notch. And she reminds her like, hey, I know you see the strengths in Zach and you don't harp on the weaknesses, and you do all you can to uplift him, and you're praising Zach. But what I want to remind you is that I want you to keep that energy. I want you to have him have that energy for you. Like, you have him on this pedestal and you know that he's amazing, he has the potential to be great, blah, blah, blah. I want him to put you on the same pedestal with him. And no more that struggle love crap. Love shouldn't be this hard. And that was a very good. If you watch this Fatima series, you can see a little bit of insight into what they are going through. And a lot of it is like Fatima, like giving him the answers and helping him strategize and dealing with the baby mamas and dealing with his friends and dealing with his brother and planning his mom's funeral. Like, all of that is her cross to bear, and dealing with baby Michael and finding out that Michael was his child. Like, all of that has been there. It's been, in my opinion, it's been much more of her cross to bear than it has been Zach's cross. Because, like she said, in our society, I can't speak for nobody else. I've never been nothing but black. In our society, we praise the man for doing little to nothing. Oh, he took out the garbage. Yay. I mean, yeah, but the garbage needed to be taken out, But I'm going to let that alone. Either way, what she's saying is, for as much as you're doing for him, make sure let the energy be the same. That's all she wanted to tell her. All right, we got Danny. She commends Danny for being in therapy, for doing something that a lot of our people don't do consistently, don't even think about, and that is therapy. Considering, the night terrors and the panic attacks, considering all that you have going on in your mental space, I am proud of you for doing that. And she tells her, like, my only advice to you is to keep that up. Now, Danny came into the conversation ready to fight, and she was like, it really wasn't no whole lot of corrections for Danny. She was like, keep up that good work because you are worth it. and because you are irreplaceable. When I told you, girl, I was crying like a dog. I was busted out crying because that was so honest and it was so sincere. And I think, like I said, there's a whole mental health wellness type of thing that is happening in a lot of these shows, especially in the Tyler Perry series, surrounding that. And I think that it is important for us to know that, and to know, like, hey, all that crap, like, worrying will make you physically ill. And people would say that growing up. When I was little, people would say, hey, worrying and stress will kill you. And I always thought, like, how? But when you getting ulcers and headaches and migraines and all these different things, like the stress holds in your body and your neck is tense and it affects your posture, like everything is affected by your mental. Your physical is just as affected by your mental health. And so, you know, it was nice to let her know, like, hey, for as strong as you are, for as resilient as you are, for as great as you are, the help is okay. It's okay to get it. Because, again, you worth it. You are worth getting help. You're worth being whole. And because you are irreplaceable. So if you worry yourself to death or you stress yourself to death, it's only one Danny. And, you know, replace Danny's name with your name, your friends. Implant that. Take it. Go forth and be great. That was great. Child, I was crying like a dog. I was like, oh, that's so beautiful. Anyway, moving on, she reminds them all that, hey, they're only as strong as their sisters. They're only as strong as their neighbors. This unit is important, so we all need to be happy, healthy, and whole. All that good stuff. And she reminds them to live out loud, live in charge, you know, be who you are, all that good stuff. And then Miss Willis gives Andy 1 week. She was like, okay, girl, I'm finna head out. It was nice talking to y'all. This was cool or whatever. But Andy, I am going to give you 1 week to get back in your rightful place down at the law firm, or I'm going to take my business elsewhere. Like you're a nice girl, appreciate you, but I done had to say the same thing too many times to you as far as getting a backbone. So you got 1 week to get back into your place, to get back in the law firm, or I'm going to take my business elsewhere. And while I'm gone, I'm going to let the world know how feeble and how naive and how gullible you are. So basically, like, hey, I'm going to take my money somewhere else and ruin your name in the process if you don't get it together. Pull it together. This is my last time telling you. And that is the end of the episode. It was more of like a sister circle moment, a round table talk or whatever. We didn't get no breaking news or anything. I think we got about 2 episodes before the season is over and we will know. Again, my money's on Robin. However, in this scene when Jordan and Penelope were talking to Rich at the smoothie bar, smoothie shop, whatever, she was saying, she was down on herself, like, I really wish I could remember. Maybe I really did do it, but I'm glad to be out of jail. He was like, stop saying it. Like, he got angry at the fact that she kept saying that she did it. So I'm like, is that a little guilt creeping in? I don't know. I don't know what that was about. But he was angry. He was viscerally upset about blaming it on herself. And I'm like, everybody calm down. Let's just settle down. It's not that deep. I mean, it is that deep, but whatever. It's okay. You don't have to be angry with me because I'm mad at myself. You can't be more mad at me than me. Relax. Either way, that has been the episode. Let me know what you think about it. Let's talk about it in the comments. That's been season 8, episode 16. Like, comment, share, subscribe, or whatever it is that you feel like doing. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.